And we're live.
Hello, everyone, to episode 36 of I'd Rather Be Motivated. Here with David Fleming and myself, Scott O Green, to talk everything making comics. This is our weekly art check here on I'd Rather Be Drawing's channel. And just here to check in and see how everything's going with David and talk comics. So how you doing, David?
Pretty good, man. It's been a pretty crazy day. When I posted a little update thing, be like, hey, come watch us. We planned this, but then like everything kind of went a little bit crazy today. And then we were actually just like not even 30 minutes ago, we were in our basement because of tornado sirens going off and all kinds of stuff. And so I had to make sure everything was cool. It jumped over us and we're good to go now. So pretty good week too. Ready to share some fun stuff. Hey, Scott, when we're not finding you here, where can we find you?
Well, what I'm going to direct your attention first is to 100daysofmakingcomics.com. Starts with 100, but that's where I'm going to want everybody to go, at least starting for now, to check out the new website that they got built and posted. And it's going to be help promoting our Kickstarter and comic book, Werewolves and Unicorns and Other Mythical Creatures. But you'll be seeing me talking a lot about that on our I'd Rather Be Drawing Facebook channel. As well as on my Instagram, which is Mr. Green Draws, mr.greendraws. So yeah, that's me.
That's your cue, just to say, oh, hey, David, where can we find you?
Oh yeah, thank you. Hey, David, where can we find you?
Oh, Scott, glad you asked. You can find me over on my Instagram at Art of Mr. Fleming, and you can find me on Facebook at MrDavidFleming.com. Of course, you can always find me at least once a week here on the channel, doing our weekly art check. And you can also find me, and by me, I mean my book, through the link in the bio of the show notes, and buy Analog Missions, my first successfully funded comic on Kickstarter.
Heck yeah, first comic at all and successfully funded.
Yeah, I feel weird saying first comic at all because like it's my first like printed, like officially comic, but I mean like it's not like it's the first time I've ever like done the comic media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was saying that at first too, and then I was like, I feel like that's not real. And then it's like, honestly, and it's not the best brag too, because I want people to know, like, I actually have been practicing this media for a couple years, and then I made this awesome thing.
Oh, I got you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
Oh, I'm extremely offended. I'll probably never do this with you again.
All right, well, let's unpack this.
All right, cool. So that wraps it up for tonight.
All right, sounds good. Oh man, I am in a mood. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to figure out how to talk like a normal human while working on Photoshop things.
Right. You're already bad at working and talking, and now you're working, talking, and doing something you never do.
Yep. Whoop.
So let's say what's up to the chat. You got a couple people joining in. What's up, Ronnie? And what's up, Wes?
Squanchy Inc. I want to say congratulations. He just finished up his a successful 100 days of making comics.
Well,
and Red, you're like right there behind him. You've probably already done it. I know he had like a weird miscounting thing, which happens when you post so late some days and so early some days. So he may be done, but he's finishing out strong.
Right on. Way to go, guys. You want to just jump right in and start the check-in?
Yeah, so our weekly, what this is, I feel kind of off kilter today, just with a different time and everything. Jumping in, had kind of a weird day too, but the purpose of this art check is to keep each other accountable. So to keep it going and to jump in, we start with our progress. So David, what has been your progress since last time we spoke?
Actually, give me 1 second. I got to check something here.
Okay. Do you want me to just jump in and... So I'll start talking here. So my progress from last week has kind of been this guy that you're looking at here. I'm importing things into Photoshop and trying to clean them up to do color and prints and just kind of basically learn. So I'm still working on that, but I got this guy drawn and inked finally. Had a long week and didn't get in quite as much of the stuff as I wanted to, but I have fun stuff to talk about beside, well, I guess, in progress. Once again, I'm part of the 100 Days of Making Comics Volume 2 anthology. and pretty excited about all the developments with that. If you are following, you'll see that they're finally starting to unveil the cover for that. You're going to see our video here pretty soon. June 1st starts it all off. You're going to see Ashcan promotions and flyers all around the world. So besides just kind of my personal progress with working on this and also kind of plugging away on my October script, just really excited for the overall progress of getting ready to kick off the Kickstarter. You back yet, David?
Yeah, I am. Sorry, I do this in my basement. And I realized I hadn't turned off all of, like, my annoying background white noise and stuff. When you started talking, I was like, I actually can't hear you.
Oh, I got you. I didn't think you usually listened anyway.
Yeah, you know, I'm trying something new tonight.
I'm trying something new. Thanks, pal.
But that is really exciting. Yeah, I'm really, really stoked out of my mind about this one.
Mike Emmerich and a lot of people have really put in a lot of effort, and he's put together a promotional pack like I was kind of talking. Wanted to get it printed today. Depending on what time we get done with this, I might try to send it on through to Kinko's so I can get some of those picked up. But I'm pretty excited, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a really cool experience for you. I recommend doing it your way, actually, the first time you do it, having like a team. First time you ever hit the Kickstarter trail, I think, is a really cool thing. And I mean, I had a blast doing mine, but it definitely would have been really cool to have other people to be able to like fall back with and rely on. And, you know, if they were reliable people, which you are definitely working with that kind of people.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty lucky to be a part of this whole thing. It's a really good group of talented people as well as accountable people, which is kind of the whole purpose of why, I mean, accountability is the name of the game with the 100. So it starts off with a group of people who, you know, will follow through. So that definitely helps. But yeah, man, this is going to be so much fun. And they've done a cool thing where all of the different creators are going to have their own independent link URL for the Kickstarter, so they can really track who's driving sales there, like which artists. To create, well, I mean, just to make it as big as possible, to know where it's coming from, and to create a friendly competition with the artists, which I think is going to be a lot of fun, especially because first prize gets a guaranteed spot if and when there is a volume 3.
I was actually going to ask what the prize was. That makes
sense. And even more than that,
you
get to pick the theme of it, which is super cool too.
Oh, you get to pick the theme too. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think a funny. You guys should have like a trophy or something, but it's like a really cheesy like soccer guy on the top of a trophy or something that you win.
Okay, I'll make it.
Yeah, you should definitely make that, and then whoever wins, like, ship it.
Salesperson of the year.
Yeah, or at the just like says like congratulations, like you filthy animal or something like that.
I like it. We got to do something, but yeah, it's exciting. So it's going to create fun competition. It's going to kind of, I think, get some of us out of our comfort zones, which is good because we're just going to like write famous people letters and show up in comic shops. And yeah, man, it's pretty exciting. I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. The kind of topic for discussion is promoting your comic. Kickstarter is a part of that, but where, David, you're at with yours, having just wrapped a Kickstarter and fulfilled it successfully. So what do you do now? And then with the area I'm at, which is kind of at the other end of that, which is how do you just make sure to promote your Kickstarter so you can blow it out of the water?
Awesome. So do you want me to just jump into my progress and then smash it all together into a giant plans and problems so we can just jump into the topic for the night?
Sounds perfect. What's been your progress, my friend?
Progress is, if you remember last time we talked, I said I wanted to finish inking the cover of book 2. I have finished inking the cover of book 2. I'm excited about that. I'm not quite ready to post it because I've been posting a bunch of other stuff and kind of just been really busy with what our topic is about, which is like kind of like setting up promotion kind of stuff for after Kickstarter, you know, keeping the comic going. I'm also drawing this one. I finished the inking of another one. I've been doing this fun little on the side series for Cowboy Bebop, little print that I want to make here eventually for the con circuit. And then I also already started doing a little drawing for an artist of mine who Might be running a Kickstarter here pretty soon.
Oh wow, that sounds pretty generous.
Yeah. I'm that kind of guy, you know.
Excited. I'm excited to hear more.
And then a little bit more planning, just in terms of like the comic itself. That also runs into kind of like my plans for next week, which is scan in the inks of the cover, add the digital screen tones, add the gray tone, and format it. I want to post it next week, like all done and ready, like sitting with the font and everything, like in the format.
Mm-hmm.
As a fun promotional, like, look at me, I made one and I'm already making another. I didn't lie. I do stuff.
Nice.
And then
you're kind of known as a liar, so it'll be cool to learn.
Well, yeah. I've been trying to build up that reputation ever since you spread those rumors in first grade.
Well, you know, you deserved it. Sorry.
I completely lost my train of thought.
Sorry. That's how I like to do it, is derail people's trains of thought when they're talking about plans for their future.
Right. That's right. So one of my things is like organization. I'm the kind of guy who like isn't exactly, I'm not like dirty, but like, you know, my studio gets a little messy. And then to get myself going, I'm the guy who like has to clean the studio and then like, all right, let's freaking do this. And then I sit down for hours and make something awesome. It's like for most people, it's like a procrastination thing, but it's like a legitimate thing for me to like sit down and organize papers and then just be like in the zone to make.
Well, I mean, you've got to once in a while, and I think sort of at a point between projects or just before you dig into the next project is actually a really wise time to do that, you know?
Yes. So my version of that is in this next week, I'm going to go to Hobby Lobby, buy a new portfolio, and cut all of the paper for chapter 1 of the comic, of the next thing of the comic, and put it all in the binder and like have it all organized so that I can start like actually hitting the storyboarding and the stuff and like start roughing out pencils and stuff for those pages.
Beautiful.
Because I'm the kind of person who like once I like get it all in the place it's supposed to be and kind of have that, I'll like, you know, because right now I just keep making the excuse of like, yeah, I got to cut some paper and yeah, I did some doodles there and I'm not quite ready to draw that page yet, you know, but like once I have the paper all in a binder, I'll be like, yeah, page 1, let's do it.
You're a lion and you're rounding on your prey, getting ready to pounce. I got you, man.
Yeah, weird analogy. But,
No, it's perfect. Don't worry about it.
I'm more like a gracious gazelle, and I'm about to like do the dance of my life, and so.
No, that can't be right. Awesome.
Sometimes we do this, and I feel like it's only funny to us, but.
Well, obviously, but I mean, if it's not funny to you, then, well, it's only funny to us, but who cares?
Oh man. Yes. That's plans. That's progress. And then problems in general has just been, you know, off the back of a big project, you do just want to take some me time.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just been taking a lot of me time. I've been playing Smash Ultimate a lot. Video games and skateboarding are my two like stress reliever things. And after all what I put into this last project, I have been taking my liberties on that one.
Nice.
I'm not going to stop anytime soon, but I do need to cut back just a little bit. I kind of like, I'm that guy who like, I kind of know that I've earned my time to do like the stuff that isn't exactly super art related and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, give myself a couple weeks doing my thing, loving it, and then I'll get back into the full. I mean, I'm not making, but I'm just not making the same pace that I just previously was, because man, I was making at a serious pace there for a little bit.
No, I hear you. I think part of it is you know how much work you put in and the pace you were at, and you're ready to do it again. But like you said, you're just kind of recharging, doing some of the fun stuff, spending some family time, because you know once you get rolling, you enjoy it. It's not like it's, you know, awful thing, but it's a labor intensive thing, and once you get rolling, you want to see it through.
So. Yeah, and that's my problem too. Like, I guess if you want to say problem, but like once I get rolling, I will be in the zone again, and then it'll be like, all right, freaking do this. The only thing I'm thinking about is this now. So I got to take my break, live life for a minute, and then do my thing.
So she's Grace.
Cool. All right, how about you, man? You can share the rest of your life now.
Yeah, so plans. Well, like I kind of talked progress. As far as problems go, it wasn't like a real problem. Once again, like at the beginning of this month, a friend of mine that I've known since fifth grade came out to visit here this last week. Kind of my brother's generation, family friend of mine as well. Since I've known since I was in first grade, came out to visit. So it wasn't quite as intensive that way because I wasn't taking off work. So it was like go to work and then go hang out, then go to work, go hang out, which is a great problem to have. And I carried my sketchbook and stuff with me a lot, but honestly just did not get a lot done because it was really cool seeing friends, and that doesn't happen a whole lot. And I do like to kind of be present for those things in life, I can take that sketchbook along with a lot of stuff, hanging out with my brother and my wife, but certain times you gotta just really enjoy it, So that was a lot of fun, but it was fun kind of as soon as he left. I dug back into this drawing here that you see, and I'm really excited about it. I like how it's turning out. It's fun to then kind of take it to the next step on the computer, which is new to me. So even just these simple things laying in the screen tone is a lot of fun and exciting for me. But as far as plans for this next week, June 1st starts the Kickstarter for the 100s anthology. And I'm really planning it like this Sunday. I'm going to kind of hit any comic shop or bookstore or place that I think might be worth it from not quite all the way down to Seattle, but from where I live down to close to Seattle, and come back again before our, show on Sunday. And so it's really going to kind of begin a big promotion thing that I want to be really involved in. Use it as an opportunity to like be more active on Twitter. I oftentimes feel like I don't have anything to say for stuff like that, but at least for a month straight, I'm going to have something to say, and really excited about it. So y'all are going to be hearing quite a bit about that, and that'll be starting by the time we talk again. And then like I'm finding out that I'm still working on my October script. I'm not as far as long as I'd like to be, but I'm finding, especially with writing, I can get art done a lot by doing kind of little bits at a time, with big chunks here and there. But I found with like writing and scripting, I really need to kind of be able to sit down for a couple hours at a time to roll into that, because I'm slow at it and kind of getting that headspace for that end of it. And I've just not quite had that, so
yeah,
still plugging away on that. I don't know how you feel about that with scripting. And
yeah, I find it being the same thing. If there's like a different creative place I have to put myself to script versus like draw. Like now that I've drawn so much and it's a part of my like daily habits, like I can sit there and like pull up a TV tray at the couch while my wife watches TV, and then just kind of ignore the TV, but like have some background noise and just kind of do my thing,
Mm-hmm.
But like whenever I had to like do my chapters of writing and like my speech bubble stuff, I literally had to like sit at the kitchen table, headphones in, lo-fi music, no words, just like put myself in a completely different place. And I also had to be like a night where I like knew if I ended up staying up till midnight, I wasn't gonna like hate myself the next day, because that pretty much happened almost every time. It was like each chapter of Analog Missions was written within like I sat down at like 8 o'clock and didn't go to sleep till like 1 o'clock, just like smashing out like dialogue and like specific script stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So yes, I completely agree.
You know it. So looking forward. My wife, she's actually out of town. I took her to the airport today, which is always a bit of a bummer, and she's not back until Sunday, but gonna use the time to focus and get some stuff done, and hoping to really make, like I need to kind of for my own sanity as well, I really need to make a leap forward with that in the here and now. So I'm just going to plan on leveling that up this week. So yeah, that's my kind of plans for the next week.
Awesome.
Good. And I kind of started jumping into the promotion thing a bit, but there'll be more to talk about with things like ash cans and all that. But why don't you kick it off, man? I want to say I've got your book in. It is beautiful. It's going to be the book number 1 of my Read More Comics IGTV series. I'm going to start off with your wonderful indie book, because I love all kinds of comics, but there's a special place in my heart for well done independent stuff. And I'm excited to show off something from I'd Rather Be Drawing as well. So look for that in theaters near you.
It does mean a lot to hear that. That's the comment I've been getting from a lot of people, and it means a lot because that's kind of like what I set out to do. So I knew realistically, like in just, you know, it being a part-time thing for me and being a dad, all this kind of stuff, like I'm going to eventually have the 200 pages, 150 pages, you know, like the big whopping book that I get to print out and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that just like realistically, it wasn't gonna happen just immediately for me. But I wanted to like start putting stuff out, and like I wasn't in a hurry necessarily to be a creator because I've already been creating. But like I just really want to like get myself out there and like make this a thing and like kind of prove to people like this is something to look forward to, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had this idea that to do about 50 pages because that's like about, you know, it's like 2.5, 3 like, you know, depending on how long of a comic you read, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's some meat there, you know.
Absolutely.
And I was like trying to figure out how do I make this thing that feels like an artifact and it's an actual book. You can put it in your hands, and it's not just like floppy that has to go in a long box afterwards. Because like I love comics, but I've always hated what collecting comics looks like because like you don't like I will frame or bag and board and put up on like little stands like around my studio, like the one that I really love, and I'll look at the covers of. But it's like, you know, when you have a book like a coffee, like people call it coffee table books, you know, it's like that beautiful thing that you leave out. So people are like, oh, what's that? You know? And like, that's the kind of book I want to make is the kind of book that like you put on the shelf or you leave out and someone's like, whoa, what's that? And it's not just like floppy comics. But someone's like, oh, cool, this guy collects comics.
Well, that's why I really love the kind of format of it. And I remember you talking about making it the size like, you know, a manga sort of a thing, you know, a little bit of a different size, but it's cool because it's so accessible as something that you can, you know, take around and take with you and really sit and read, you know. But yeah, it also feels like it's a substantial, real thing that's a piece of art, you know, not just, I don't know, it feels like a cool book. It's not just a comic, you know. It's something that it doesn't, if someone gave it to you or handed it to you to check out, you would treat it nicer than your standard comic, you know.
I think that's, because I love I love comics. It's I wouldn't be making them if I didn't love comics. So I don't want it to sound like we're like bashing or dissing on that thing because I do love a good floppy. But it's like, it's kind of what you said. It's like when I slap this on the table, it's like, oh, there's a thing here. Like there's a binding, and there's, I mean, like there's like this is here to be taken care of, and there's just like there's detail in the work of it, and the pages are like this beautiful uncoated, like not glossy, thick weight that I kind of threw in the extra. So I did really well on the Kickstarter versus what I thought I was going to do. So I printed more, but most of the money kind of went into just making it feel better, like making that thing that we were talking about and kind of adding to the beauty and whatever you want to call it. Because that's part of my thing. You know, it's just like I've always kind of been, because I think it's kind of like that. Like I went to college and did the whole like fine art, capital A art thing, like with my training of how to do art, but then like realized that that's not really what I wanted to do. I want to make comics, but how can I maybe mix those two things together and kind of make each thing that I do feel like a substantial thing? So I don't know.
Well, you using the word artifact, I think, is a cool way to think about it, especially in thinking about the themes and different ideas of what your story is. So I think it just holds together with that as well. You have a very organic yet very clean machine-made book, and that serves the purpose of the storytelling, which I think is always important in decisions you make. Whether, you know, just because it looks cool is usually not a great reason for decision making and storytelling, as well as in, I think, the design of the book. The things you did to design it all went in as a cohesive thing, and it feels that way. So I mean, it doesn't feel out of place that you would do something in this sort of, you know, disposable cheap medium, but attempt to make something a bit nicer. I don't know, it works. I like it.
That's awesome. I seriously, it's a huge compliment to hear that, because it's what I set out to do, and it feels good that I've done it. So it's like awesome. Like I have people are reading it, people are loving it, people are seeing it, and people are loving it. Like I've had a couple of sales based off of people who just saw some of the other people who backed it and were like, wait, what is that book? That looks awesome. And I've shipped a couple extra out. Like past Kickstarter, I probably sold almost another 15, maybe 20 books. So that feels really good. That like I just finished shipping out all the Kickstarter stuff, and I've also already sold another 15 to other people. One or two through the website, most of them through like direct people messaging me, and then some just like local people who were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed this," and just that kind of thing.
Well, and that kind of brings us around to our story topic, which is now that the Kickstarter's done, I feel like some people go, "Oh, sweet, that's done. That was exhausting," and now they sit back. But what we've talked about in the past is, well, now your work's kind of begun. That's the Kickstarter. So now that you've got it rolling, how do you keep that momentum rolling? Like, what are you currently doing to make sure that people know that there's this new thing out there, even if it's not feeling as new to you? How do you kind of keep carrying that energy to promote it?
Yeah, so obviously on my social media, I want to keep that thing going for a good chunk of time because I might get new followers. I might get people watching this who've never seen or heard us talk about that kind of thing. So there's like a fine balance on that of like, I got to move forward and make new art, but at the same time, every once in a while, I got to pop that thing up and be like, hey, by the way, remember I made this thing. If you didn't back it, you can still buy it. Like, this book still exists. Like, because I think that's a big thing for a lot of people too. I've learned that some people are still iffy about this idea of like kickstarting and kind of funding this thing that doesn't exist. And so I think there's a little bit of a like, oh, he really did make it. Now it exists. Cool. Now I'm ready to jump on that wagon kind of thing. And so I think there's definitely like, I think any Kickstarter should definitely have a few sales just right off the bat, right afterwards for those kind of people who like were maybe following it or watching it, but weren't sure if they were ready to jump in on it. And I think I definitely proved myself with what I made. It's kind of what you're talking about. Like this is a little bit different than just a comic book. And I think when people put it in their hands, they're like, whoa, this is cool. And then on top of that, contacting of local businesses. So I have on Thursday, and I didn't talk about this in my plans because I'm waiting until now because it's kind of the point of the topic. On Thursday, there's a comic shop in Peculiar, which is about 30 minutes from where I am right now, that found me at Comic-Con, and we talked a little bit, and then I made sure to contact them afterwards, and then now that the book is out, I'm going to do an interview at their comic shop about it on Thursday. So I'm going to go out to their shop, and they're going to do like a little Facebook Live kind of thing where I actually am at the shop kind of doing a live interview with them. And then on Saturday is my book release party, which I mentioned, I think, in the last episode. So for local people to come out, even if you bought a book, it's just kind of like a come out and support the comic kind of thing. And then for a lot of people, like that's kind of like I'm getting that crowd too. I've had a lot of friends who didn't back the book who were like stoked about this, and now they're going to come by and have already kind of like RSVP'd and sent me messages, and then like I'm in, like I'm excited to come see what this thing is all about and that kind of stuff. So, and then after this week of sort of promoting is over, I have made a list. I've been sort of jumping around on the internet, trying to look on. Basically, I went on people's blogs and websites that did comic review stuff and kind of just like did a search engine thing to see if they've ever covered anything that's Kickstarter or indie. And I'm going to start sending the PDF, the little like that digital flip book that I made, out to people. And I'm just going to cast an extremely wide net, like give it to 30 websites and maybe at least one will review it kind of thing, you know?
I love that, man. That's a great idea. Especially because that thing that you made is really cool, that digital flipbook thing.
Yeah, that's what I think too. The digital flipbook feels like it matches sort of the other thing. Like I've done something weird and different with the comic. Oh, I've done something weird and different with the digital thing too.
Absolutely.
And that kind of feels like a cool thing. Like, of course I did. Because, I mean, that's always been me too. I've kind of always been that annoying guy who like tries to be the nonconformist, and to put it in a little bit of a cheesier way, you know. Just sort of like feel like I have to keep changing and reinventing everything, even though a lot of it's not broken.
Well, as long as it keeps it interesting, I guess that's probably a bit more of the important part of that, right?
Yeah, I think that's a part of it too. I don't know. So I was listening to, we both listened to the 3 Point Perspective podcast, and they were kind of talking about that. I can't remember what the topic exactly was or what the episode was, but they were basically talking about how, like, you know, they see it all and they see it constantly, and they go to like their little like Illustrator and kids book convention stuff, and every single person's portfolio has some kind of like monster under the bed, and every single person's portfolio has like a Red Riding Hood, or, you know, like there's just like there's so many tropes and things that just people just do over and over again. Like even superheroes is starting to kind of fall into that category. I follow a lot of groups on Facebook now of people who do what I do, and a lot of people's things are just like, here's my comic that I wanted to make since I was a kid, and like I'm not trying to throw any kind of like shade or anything, but like the character looks just like Batman or Superman. Like there's no difference. Like the guy's symbol on his chest isn't an S, but the character is not any different.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, so what is it? What is it about this book that is different? That is your burning passion and desire to reinvent this idea that we've all seen 1,000 times? Like, what's different about the monsters on the bed? Oh, well, it's Monsters Inc. and they're actually nice, and they don't want to scare people. It's just the only way they know how to make energy for their world. You know what I mean? Like,
well, for sure. Yeah, it's something I think about a lot, especially with scripting this October thing, because I like adventure tales and everything, and I like the not even necessarily like monster aspect of the new cutesy monster thing, but I like eerie, weird adventures, you know. So Halloween is a great pumpkin-headed time for that, but trying to make that a thing that hasn't been done a million times is not only important for sales of the book, but like you know, important to me. You know, I don't want to do just another thing. You know, I want this to be special and find that thing that makes it stand out. Because even at this point, the monsters being, you know, nice and the kids being scary or whatever is almost become a trope. You know,
right,
to avoid. So I mean, even that aspect of it being turned on its head needs to kind of be turned on its head again. So it's not an easy thing. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, and it's like that I like you good?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Well, yeah, it's just like I just spent 6 months making this comic, and I'm obviously passionate about it. But in the end, no one could have shown up to the Kickstarter, and then that could have not have happened for me. I needed to be happy with the thing I made at that level, without all the other stuff. And I think that's a big part of it too. I think a lot of people burn themselves out on their ideas and their indie comics and stuff because they made it hoping for it to be the next biggest thing, and I made it because I had this passion to tell the story, and I was going to make it regardless. And even if I didn't Kickstarter it, I was going to print it off and staple it together and make sure it existed myself. Like there's nothing about any of the steps that I was doing that were going to stop me from making the thing that I was about to make. And I think maybe that also has to do with why it ended up being pretty successful.
Yeah, I'd say that makes good sense, man. So, so you have that radio show on Thursday, or the podcast?
Yeah, podcast Thursday. I'll make sure to share the link as soon as I kind of figure it out. They have a YouTube channel, a Twitch, and a Facebook Live, and I think it kind of.
Because even using that as a promotional piece, like after the fact, you know, like a week later, going, "Oh, by the way, did you hear my?" You know, that's a pretty cool thing to have.
Yeah, exactly, and that's another thing too. That's that. We've talked about that too. I mean, I feel like how many times can I mention Jake Parker and Will Terry and all those dudes? But like I talked about the 3 lives thing not long ago, and the idea that like when I do a thing, I make sure I can post that thing multiple times around the world and to people and to fans and reuse it over and over again. And that's another thing with this kind of stuff, right? I'm going to go live and be live, and that's great promotion. I'm going to share it afterwards, and that's great promotion. And then I can also continue to mention that in terms of like later on to other people about like, hey, by the way, here's this comic, want to review it. Here's a comic shop that already reviewed it, like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I've got a long drawn out plan of like how do I keep this promotion alive and keep people realizing that I made this thing. And I mean, even to the point that like I had a couple of followers kind of jokingly a couple posts ago be like, "Oh, did you make a book? I didn't know." Like,
I know you kind of do have to, and what I'm finding and kind of gearing myself up for is getting over bashfulness or worrying about spamming people. I mean, I guess this is kind of the time to find out if people are going to be interested in what you're doing or not. If they're not, then they're going to tune out and maybe unfollow me. But maybe that's okay. You know, maybe they weren't ever going to like be a supportive, you know, fan or whatever anyway, you know. So maybe now's the time that gets weeded out because I have to like think I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just being excited about art that I'm creating, and telling everybody that, you know, is not a bad thing. So I don't know. It's like a weird thing, you know, just to kind of train yourself to get out of your comfort zone, which is kind of what I'm gearing up for, which isn't really like hard for me, but in kind of internet land, it's a bit harder for me. You know, if I can get out there and print the things and go and talk to people, that's okay. But reaching out and saying, hey, if there's anybody out there that is looking to talk to indie creators about books or Kickstarters, you know, look me up, you know.
Right.
It's a little bit of a different level of, hey, look at me, you know, which I was kind of always taught was like, you know, not a good quality, which is not necessarily correct at all. So,
well, I think that there's a difference between like having a bit of humility in your promotion and kind of like just like being all over the place and in everyone's face and stuff.
oh, for sure, for sure.
There's also a weird thing of some people who like, and I don't take any offense to either. Like, I mean, react however you can. Maybe you've just had bad experiences or something with it. But some people will act really aggressive with you. Like, you're just like, hey, I made a comic. You mind checking it out? Like, no, and don't ever talk to me again. And you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, okay, no problem, man.
I have fun, have a good life. I
Yeah.
hope everything's okay at home.
Yeah. So that's what I'm excited for. I kind of like with you and Rao, I had an opportunity to get some flyers printed, which I hadn't really heard a lot of people doing that with Kickstarters. It just kind of stays in the internet verse, it seems like. So kind of messed around that a little bit with you guys. Was excited to take your flyers to the Emerald City Con, and then was like super sick for that. So I ended up just kind of having to do one of the setting them on the table sort of thing, which I'm not as big of a fan of, but
yeah, I get it. My flyers made you sick. You couldn't even look at them.
Yeah, dude, it was disgusting. But
oh man, I told him I was going to do this, but I just can't bring myself to it, man.
I can't be associated with this. People may recognize
them on a table.
No, but so excited to kind of give it a new shot. And Mike Emirates, like I said, has put together like a whole press packet for everybody, which includes flyers, different information about it. So as you like talk to people, you can say, okay, it's definitely 28 creators, 28 stories, 132 pages, all ages, you know exactly what you're selling, you know, as you're talking.
That's kind of cool too, actually, though, because that's like you have like a consistent speech based that everyone's like kind of giving in that kind of way too.
Exactly, and he kind of noticed everyone being like, yeah, it's got like 100 and some odd pages, and there's like 30 stories or so, and everyone, you end up sort of sounding wishy-washy about it because you don't want to say something wrong.
Right.
So he's just like, here's the info, be confident, talk about it. And we're really gearing to push it to like get it into comic shops and go that, you know, just because you're an independent creator, it doesn't mean that your book can't be sold in comic shops across the country. And it doesn't need to go through Diamond Publishing. You know what I mean? These are folks who you just have to kind of talk to, and they love comics. So if you can make it appealing or show them why it's something special or out of the ordinary, it doesn't seem like such a long shot to do that, you know. So Mike Emirates put together an ash can, which is basically a zine that's a promotion of the comic. So it's a small black and white printed thing with kind of colorful punk rock flyer paper for the cover that has, you know, bits of everybody's art, the story of what it is, why it's happening, why it's special. Then at the end of it, it'll have, you know, what the the tier for retailers. So, you know, get 5-10 books for your shop, you know. And he really created something quite special with that. And his plans just on his own is he's sending that to 2 comic shops in every state across the country. But he also sent us all a PDF, a printable PDF of it. So if any of us want to invest ourselves, which all of us are, to get some of those printed off and cut and, you know, be able to go and hand them to people, hand them to our comic shop people and talk to them about it. I think it's a great idea of really just kind of being a bit old school about it, which comics are kind of an old school thing when you're doing a Kickstarter to get it printed, you know. So, yeah, man, I think it's a great idea with the ash can, really kind of going back old school with it and showing how important it is to us, you know. So.
Yeah, I love that. I love ash cans, like the little like sort of zine it up with like a thing as like a promotional piece. Uh, Daniel Warren Johnson, I don't know if you know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
He did that Extremity. Did you ever read that one?
I haven't read that.
So if you haven't, a beautiful book. Quick promotion on that. It's about a person who is an artist who had their hand cut off by like these bandits, and then she can't draw anymore, and that's like it's like a revenge story, and that's like the thing that drives her revenge is like that they like took away her passion kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool idea, obviously as an artist. But I bought it was like before the book came out, he like printed a bunch of ash cans, like a limited run of them, and gave them to a few random comic shops. Like if you were a comic shop, you could like order it kind of thing. And I picked one up of that book, and I love it. It's like a black and white, like small little zine version of the book as like a preview to the first chapter.
Well, I love it in so many ways because especially the collector side of comics, which a lot of us are, it kind of is a fun extra little souvenir thing, you know?
Yeah, that's what it feels like for me. And I still bought issue 1 and all that stuff afterwards. And then this is just like a cool, like awesome thing that like I was just saying, it's one of the things that I keep up on like one of my little stands. It's like a sweet like cover because I love black and white. It's like my thing, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And
obviously.
Well, I know I didn't just print an entire comic book in black and white, so.
No, not at all. So that, and then also to help the Kickstarter, I know like you and Rao didn't worry so much about the video thing, which I don't think it's a necessary thing to do all the time, especially if the video is going to like not be a good quality, then maybe it's not the best thing to show that you're going to make a quality project. But luckily, we have Corey Kerr on our side who does animations and does video productions. And so he really kind of went all out. I've talked about it before, but that's going to be another thing that really kind of helped promote the thing. And it's not just to go, hey, here's a shiny video, but he featured all of the artists in it, all the creators. So you can really see, like, here's all these humans behind this book. And what I'm kind of telling people is, like, if you like comics and if you like supporting indie artists, here's a great way to support, like, 28 artists with one book. You can feel great about it, you know? I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm really excited. I think it like almost makes me want to like do an anthology or some kind of thing like that, because at first it's like a thing where I was like, yeah, it's really cool. I don't know about like sharing. Like I've always been a do it myself and do it all the work all by myself kind of guy, but like watching you go through it's really cool, and seeing having a team and all that kind of stuff is a really cool idea.
Yeah, it's. I've talked with you a little bit about it off screen or whatnot, and I really just want to let this book live where it is right now because I'm so excited about it. But the premise of the short story I did, it just kind of would fit nicely into a bigger project, and it just feels like it would be cool in another anthology thing, and it'd be fun, like watching Mike Emmerich really be an editor on this. I'm interested. I'm going to throw this out here. Like, I'd like to try to get him on the show during our Kickstarter to really go from the aspect of seeing him be an editor, which we talk about inking and drawing and paneling and all this stuff with comics, but seeing what he just pulled together in a product that he's making and something that we're all going to benefit from. It really kind of shows you why having an editor is really important and why the big Two and Image and all these other places have editors, but the little guys don't have editors. So it'd be cool to have him on here during the month of June to kind of talk about that and his role. But it kind of seeing his role in that, it's a bit infectious, and it's got me excited. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to put together a book that everybody can benefit from and be proud of, and you know, they can still keep working on their own projects, and I can keep working on other projects, but together we can have another product, you know, minimal effort, you know, everyone put in a little bit, everybody lift one stone, and by the end of the day, we'll, you know, have a pyramid built. It'll be great.
Wait, did you just propose a pyramid scheme?
Yes, but it was kind of a literal building a pyramid scheme, which I guess also isn't good. But anyway, you get what I mean, I hope.
Of course, of course. As long as I'm also at the top.
Yeah. Obviously.
I do like what's going on here with your, I just looked over to check comments and saw your screen tone stuff that you did, your background. I like that.
That's looking good, huh? I'm getting pretty excited about this stuff. I got to research a few things. I remember, yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about it. This is a lot of fun. Bumping it up to the next level and finding like a nice marriage of me doing it by hand and then adding a little bit extra in Photoshop after.
Oh, yeah.
I like it a lot.
Perfect use of the like it a lot because it's okay. I'm a limo driver.
Nice. One other thing I kind of want to talk about with promotion while we're at it and we're kind of, getting towards the tail end of stuff is the word of mouth. And a lot of Kickstarters are happening all the time, Indiegogos, all of that stuff, even just conventions and street fairs and everything. And you want to support everybody, but it's hard to. So word of mouth and sharing these things is hugely important on all levels. So any of that throughout this next month for David now as he's, promoting the book that he's already done. It's not over for him. So if you see him talking about that, tweet that out, tell people about it, but for this next month, you're going to see a lot of 100 days of making comic stuff, I have a feeling, because it's not going to just be me, but a lot of people in different art communities. So please help us let's get them all over the globe. We're the little guy, but, together, it's a much bigger guy. So it'd really be kind of cool to see how many different countries we can get these books in and see whose eyes we can get it under and who might hold the book up on their social media or share it and just really kind of see how far it goes because the sky's the limit, But yeah, sorry, I blabbed on. But my my point with that is I want to kind of word of mouth a couple Kickstarter things going on myself right now. Peter Palmiotti on Kickstarter. He's in his last hours. It's I think 10 hours left or something like that, if that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, for Retro, RETRO, which is also the birth of Has Comics, which is kind of his publishing independent bullpen of creators' idea. So this is a big one, and it's already funded. He's doing a short, just 5-day sprint of a Kickstarter, and it funded in 26 hours or something like that. But we want to blow through that kind of first stretch goal and just kind of see what we can get in this last little bit. So I really urge you, after we get done here, I am going to make it a priority to go in and post some links so you guys can see them right away. I have kind of a file pulled up with them all over. I can copy and paste. But Peter Palmiotti, the comic is Retro. Look it up on Kickstarter. Please support. Throw $1 his way. Throw $50, $500. Trust me, the dude deserves it. He's a great guy in the community and a wonderful artist. Speaking of great guys and wonderful artists, Marshall Lee of Donkey Jaw Projects is also part of another anthology. I believe he did a 10-page contribution to a Indiegogo anthology called Lone Wolf. So I'll have that link down below here in a little bit as well. But if you search Donkey Jaw Projects or Marshall Lee anywhere on social media, I'm sure it'll direct you to that Indiegogo project of Lone Wolf. Besides, it seems like there was another one. But yeah, nope, I think that's it for now. Besides Awesome Analog Missions, book 1 of 3 from Mr. David Fleming, and I'd Rather Be Drawing Publications. I'm really excited to have this book and dig in, man, and put it under the spotlight for Read More Comics. And it really is something cool, so I'm excited to dig into that one.
Yeah, I think the thing Peter's doing is really cool. I was actually thinking about a future thing of maybe doing an interview or something with him. But this idea, I was telling Rao about that actually, that it felt like I did mine for a month, and really the only reason that worked out well for me is because having the convention happen kind of in that last week and getting to go to Comic-Con and spread the word to some people, helped build it a little bit. But I was my first 4 days were big, and then nothing really, and then a couple of big things happening in that last couple of days. So it's is it really beneficial to do a month-long Kickstarter? I would love to talk to someone who's done a 5-day Kickstarter and like the benefits and stuff, because I think it's kind of a cool idea, and I was already throwing it in my brain that like maybe it makes more sense. I mean, the point of the Kickstarter is like it's like a flash sale. It's like get in on this while it's hot, you know, like support this, and then I'm going to make this, and then you're going to get this, and then it's going to be a product, and other people can get this, like that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, you're right there, and it is seeming like more and more like people are funding very quickly and then spending the rest of the time trying to get more, which isn't bad, but then usually kind of like the more comes towards the end because the final push of no, really, this is your last chance, this is your last chance.
Yeah.
So possibly doing a 5-day Kickstarter for some of the smaller ones might be a cool way to go to avoid that middle lag and the long drawn out thing of it, and be able to just kind of get to the point of it. He's doing some cool stuff. So he like did like an 8-hour or 7.5-hour live stream hangout where people.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's gonna do it again tonight and early tomorrow morning. If you want to pop in and say hey to him, you should let him know. But yeah, man, the guy's just super cool. Just an awesome combo in the community of super nice guy and really talented guy, and wants to just involve everybody in comics around him, whether they're reading them or making them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be a cool thing to have him on and talk about that as like a cool topic, because I don't think it gets done very often. A lot of, I mean, there's a standard format for what a Kickstarter should look like, and it's definitely doing it for a month. Like 30 days is like the Kickstarter amount. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Give or take, adding a couple days or whatever. But like, I mean, is the one you're about to do? Do you know how long it's going up for?
Yeah, it'll be June 1st through the 30th.
Yeah. See, so it's like it seems like everyone likes to start on the 1st of the month and go all the way through the month, and a part of that is like paydays and stuff. I know it's like, you know, it comes out here, and then it gives everybody at least one good payday throughout the month to like make sure that they can support if they want to.
Yeah, for sure. And we are really, you know, looking to canvas and blanket a large area with this one. So I'm hoping we're not going to see a whole lot of lag on these 30 days, but just keep it climbing. Like I'm naively optimistic. I think something special is about to happen.
Yeah, of course you do.
Of course I do, yeah. You don't believe in your own project and think you're going to make $1 million or get it in everybody's hands. And, you know, I usually say the $1 million things. I really don't even care. I just want to print a bunch of books and get them in a lot of people's hands and just kind of see what happens. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just making a thing is like half of the only reason. I made those stickers that I gave out to a few of the bigger tier backers, and I've been using as like promotional pieces and stuff like that, literally just because I wanted one myself. On the, it was this guy here, this one. I turned him into a sticker.
Oh yeah.
And I have him on the back of my car now, leaning on the little symbol for my car.
Nice.
And I'm like, that's it. That's all I wanted that for. I just happened to get the extra 49 of them that I can give out as promotional now.
Yeah, I love all the little extras. Your bookmark turned out great as well, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I love it. You have a good product to keep promoting. With all you publishers and promoters out there, keep pushing that project.
This is giving me good ideas for what we can talk about next time.
Oh, good.
I think that's good. That's a good stopping point, then. What do you think? Do the usual wrap up?
Yeah, I'm out of gas, man. When we are not seeing you creating here, where can we find you?
Art of Mr. Fleming on Instagram and Mr. David Fleming on Facebook, and pretty much everywhere else. Those are the two. I try to keep it consistent. Art of Mr. Fleming or Mr. David Fleming. You can find me at both of those ways. On the Instagram is a direct link to the preview. So this is something cool that I set up that I did kind of forget to mention early on. But on the website, the preview to the first chapter of the book is free. And then on that same area is also 2 links to either buy the digital book or buy the physical book, which will send you to my store. Which I'm still deciding if that's how I'm going to keep up the digital version of it. So far, it's on there for $5, and then I email you a password to get to the digital flip book. I'm not sure if I want to keep it that way because I realize that the website that I have it set up through doesn't probably actually support digital buying. Like you'll buy it and then it'll send me an email and then I'll be able to email you back with the code, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like I realized there's things like Gumroad and some other stuff that actually do digital download stuff where I could just immediately have it send out the minute that you buy the thing instead of having to wait till I'm like, oh shoot, someone bought the thing. All right, email you back. Here you go. All right, have fun, read the book, kind of thing. Like I had to go in and make shipping free because it like defaults to picking like my shipping options and stuff like that too.
Oh wow.
And it was like, oh shoot, it was like up for like 10 minutes, and I had got like a guy message me, was like, I'm about to buy your book, but it's asking me to ship it. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Let me fix that real quick.
So I'm going to write the password down on a piece of paper and mail it to you.
It's very secretive, and then I'm going to set it on fire.
Yes, and as soon as you've accessed it, I need you to destroy it.
You will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Awesome. So for me, when I'm not here talking gibberish with David, I'm on my Instagram, mr.greendraws, so Mr. Green Draws. And keep an eye out on, oh, good plug there, Green. Sorry. 100daysofmakingcomics.com. That's what I'm trying to say. And remember to search Peter Palmiotti on Kickstarter and search Marshall Lee on Indiegogo. You're going to find some good comics from all kinds of folks, so check it out.
I just realized some things went down the chat here that I wanted to, just before he pieced out, but then it looks like Squatchy did piece out. It sounded like he was saying his book of mine got stuck in LA and he hasn't gotten it yet. I wanted to be like, if it doesn't happen, let me know. I will ship another one. Like, but that's another thing too. Anybody listening who's a book guy, if you've not gotten your book, please contact me. I want to make sure everyone's got their book, and if you've not, I will priority mail you a book right now and make sure you get that. So
I never got mine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll priority mail you one of these.
Uh-oh. I can't see what you're doing, but I don't think it's good.
Oh, did I not? There it is. There. A knuckle sandwich, boy.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I'm going to make a sandwich. I'm going to put it in an envelope. When you open it up, there's going to be a piece of paper inside of it that says knuckle sandwich, boy.
Man, I hate knuckle sandwiches.
All right. It's time to get off of this.
We got to get out of here, man.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate you. We have been doing this Tuesday night thing a couple times in a row, but we're going to get back to Sunday and get things back on track, you know. Holidays and all that kind of stuff mess with us and then some. So thanks a lot. Check out the links in the bio. Check out Analog Missions. Buy a book if you bought a book. Tell your friends and show them how beautiful that thing is. Pieces.
Peace.